you need a bit of inspiration this morning, here it is. In a split second, Markberridge's life came crashing down, diving headfirst into a stormwater drain after a cycling accident. He was told he may spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, but he isn't. He's lived to tell the tale and is wanting to inspire others recovering from trauma in his soon-to-be-released book, A Fraction Stronger. Mark joins us now from Brisbane. Good morning, Mark, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
Mark, talk us through that cycling accident and what you remember of it.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, I remember all of it. Perfect morning and just going through a corner and the bike understeered and I had to make a controlled crash decision. I thought park in front of me looks like the better option, not realising that there was a drain that was 1.5 metres below ground level. So unfortunately, I pile drived into that, and I guess my sort of memory is sort of like getting a punch in the head and then effectively sort of pain and then enormous pain in my back as I was lying on my side in the ditch and just gasping for breath and just trying to remain calm, really, and how do I slow down my breathing and try and focus on just I guess waiting. I had 8 mates with me and they called the ambulance.
Amazing that in that moment even you were able to draw on the strength to remain calm, because that surely would have helped your recovery. But what did doctors tell you about your recovery and how long it would take and whether you would?
Yeah, I think it's pretty sobering when you get to hospital and you get the results of the scans and you hear the words, spinal cord injury. My wife's incredibly stoic. She's beaten bowel cancer, and she was sliding along the wall to find the nearest chair to sit down. So it's pretty traumatic moment. But I think the thing that really sunk with me was this comment that you got more than 50% compression in your spinal cord, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? How I'm going to find a way to get around? You have this vision of very limited mobility and how that impacts your identity if you're not an elite athlete, obviously, but very enjoying athletic activity with your children and your friends, and suddenly you're thinking that's all taken away from you and your career. So it was very took me a few hours, I think, of digesting that shock to try and find those rays of hope and inspiration.
People have been through these kind of traumatic experiences and especially such a split-second impact on your life. Talk about their life before and after, and about being quite different people. Do you think you've changed as a person?
No doubt, but it took time. I think at the very start, you just try to soak up great stories around you that you remember of inspiration and how, what attitude did they take to this problem? How might I replicate that attitude and how can I change? So I guess initially, I think you dig deep inside you for your own memories, and I call them embers, your ability to sort of connect with your identity and what means something to you. And then, you do that to chase your own identity you thought you had and to try and have it back. And it probably took me a good sort of 15 months to sort of realise that I could never regain, even though I'd made incredible progress versus what I expected on that first day, I could never regain that identity. And I guess I say I'm an accidental author. I got catapulted back to my creative side, and I got the chance to write and to try and help other lives as I was helped.
Yeah, and you speak about trying to soak in the inspiration from other stories. There may very well be people there who are looking at your story and finding inspiration this morning. What would be your message to those people?
I think there's always hope, and really embrace the support around you. Reach out for help. Don't be too proud. I think that was probably relative to before injury versus those desperate moments when you just need all the help you can get. Just find a way to reach out to any help, because you really need it in those toughest times. And it was so fantastic for me. But sometimes you're sort of a bit proud to really to reach out for all the help that's actually there, or to embrace the help that's offered properly. And I'd probably say they're the most simple, easy steps you can do at the start. Is just listen to that and embrace that help.
And what is the latest in terms of your physical abilities and your recovery?
Yeah, I'm going okay. I jogged a lap of an oval about 15 months after the accident, and I guess that at that point I was probably feeling a little bit lost in my identity, having tried to regain my old identity, and they'd said I'd never run, so I was really determined to sort of tick off something that made me feel better about my progress. Nowadays I can walk about 50% of the speed I used to. And so I have this sort of reframing that always goes through my head every time I'm walking with my family and I fall behind. I go, I hate falling behind, but the next thought's always, well, at least I'm walking with the hope of improvement.
So it's an ongoing journey, I guess you'd say. You know, you're
No, another 3 hours of rehab every week, pretty much,
yeah,
still trying to focus on that. Yeah.
and an ongoing mental journey too, I suppose.
Oh, no doubt, and and lots of good things out of that as well as the tougher moments. So, and I guess that's what the book's about. A fraction stronger. How do you just get those little increments of, I guess, realizing your own strength, finding the strength around you, embracing it, and just reminding yourself of what you've achieved before, and therefore what you might be able to achieve in the future.
Thanks very much for sharing your story with us this morning. That's A Fraction Stronger author Markberridge joining us this morning. Thank you.